How far can the Cubs go if they don't have Kyle Tucker?
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Alongside Sam Olber, I'm Matt Cozy. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion into discussion with you on all things Cubs. This episode is brought to you by FiveHour Energy. Enough with the boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade with FiveHour Energy shots. Go to FiveHourEnergy.com or Amazon today. Kyle Tucker's calf, is it making progress? He is stuck in the rehab process. There's still time, though. The calendar's on his side. You would like for him to return next week, but his talent, his process, he could likely get ready on his own as long as he plays on Tuesday, September 30th, which is Wild Card Game 1, as we're your home for the Cubs postseason run here on Locked On Cubs. So we'll stay tuned for this, especially considering getting him right and locked in, which also has consequences for him as a free agent this offseason. But Sam, this is a player who not only is an elite talent, he also has playoff experience. And for the Cubs to do well in the playoffs, I do think they really need him, though we'll review the options on the table.
Yeah, I think if he's really compromised, and the question is where can the Cubs go without Kyle Tucker? I think the basic answer is I think they could win a 3-game series without him in the wild card. Now, I would much rather have him out there. I think not having him out there decreases their chances. But baseball's baseball, and let's just assume it's Cubs Padres at Wrigley. That feels like the fair assumption at this point. You know, the Cubs could win that series without Kyle Tucker. It's not like football where you play one game and you don't have your starting quarterback, and it's like, well, you got no shot. You know what I mean? In fact, you mentioned it, I think yesterday, the record, without him right now is pretty decent.
Yeah, 13-6.
But I think his injury, the long term, the as you mentioned, the Cubs are, gave themselves a chance yesterday to win the World Series. I don't believe they could make a long run without Kyle Tucker. I think that's where I would sit. I think they could survive a 3-game set. That's probably where it would end. Because what he brings to the table when healthy is just he has a little bit of everything. He's got a little bit of Hap. He's got a little bit of Bush and say Pete. Like he'll he'll give a good at bat. The only thing you're rooting to not happen is just that rollover ground ball that he had when he slumps. But when that's not there, he's just not a guy you want to face in a big spot. And the Cubs don't have a lot of guys like that right now. Like Hap's hitting great. Nico's been amazing. He's one of those. Swanson's been great. But I can promise you this team needs Kyle Tucker to make a long run.
They do. And you're objectively worse with Seiya and Wright and Ballesteros at DH. I don't know how else to say it. I do think Ballesteros could be a hot hand entering the wild card series if you believe in that sort of thing. And it was a good sign that Seiya was in the lineup. Both of them were, Seiya and Ballesteros on Thursday, as Craig Counsell didn't put out the Champagne lineup. But your defense suffers, and especially inserting a rookie in there that really didn't get many reps this year at the big league level. Yeah, it's not an ideal scenario. I like your pitch for the 3-game series thing. They could win 2 out of 3 against the Padres. But then to the concern meter, it would increase from there. Right now, Sam, my concern meter, I thought about this before work today, after work. It's at a 7.3. That's where I'm at right now. It just doesn't seem – I know he left the team, but it doesn't seem like a major injury. He's not in pain. He can throw, he can hit, he can run, but he can't run well. And afterwards, he's in discomfort.
Right.
And so the reason why for me it's at a 7-3 is, well, September 30 rolls around and he decides, you know what? Even though there is some things at stake here, I've never really been in pain, and I'll just be super thoughtful about my treatment after this game. And if I get back to the dugout after hitting a double off the ivy, and I'm in discomfort, so be it, because it's about this year more than it is about, the winter meetings and the deal he's going to get.
Yeah, I think my concern level is a little higher now, and I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
A calf injury. Now, baseball's not like basketball or football, but like calf, Achilles, those things are always connected. And he's in his walk year, and so if anything's slightly off with that calf, because he's in his walk year, I just think he might be getting advice to say, do not push it, right? Do not push it first to third. The last thing that could happen right now is for you to tear something or do something big, and then your whole free agency is ruined. You know what I mean? And so because of that, that's my concern. Like, I don't think this is a serious injury either, but I think when you have now, I don't know how much money he has on the line anymore, and I'm kind of tired of talking about it because I don't think it's going to be here regardless. But let's say it's 300. Is that fair?
Mm-hmm.
If you got $300 million on the line, and your agent is telling you, hey, someone's saying, hey, this calf, the only way it's going to get worse is if you really, sprint on it or do something. It just needs 3-4 weeks of rest. That plays into it. You know what I mean? And I don't think that's crazy to say. So I'm just worried about that element of it, the walk year element of it. But I think he's going to come back. I mean, I think he's going to pick. I just think he's being real cautious.
Yeah, and it'd be nice to have him in there against the righties. King, Cease, Pavetta, Darvish. Then that's just the people that would open the game. Not to mention the bullpen: Miller, Suarez. I feel like I'm missing a name. Estrada.
Yeah. They're filled with good righties.
Righties. It's all righties. And to be thorough here, I did want to bring this up too. Whatever happens, you can't have Willie Castro starting right.
No.
If you want to increase your defense, then please monitor closely Owen Casey. Put him out there. And put Say at DH. At that point, you're trading Casey for Ballesteros. But again, it would really be for the defensive part of it.
And you mentioned earlier, Suzuki and Ballesteros would be worse. If Seiya doesn't show something soon, I think Ballesteros is going to be your starting DH September 30th. I'm serious.
That's a big storyline.
Whether Tucker plays or not. Now, that's if Seiya doesn't show something here in the next 10 or so games, whatever it is. So
right, you're keeping a close eye on him, really starting the night.
Yeah, I'll talk about that later on.
Yeah. All right, Cubs Reds recap coming up. Cubs are starting to manipulate their pitching. What do we expect out of these last 9-10 games? Is it to win the last 2 out of 3 against the Reds, and then 2 out of 3 Mets, 2 out of 3 Cardinals? Can they go 6-3 over the final 9? Does it even matter? That and a whole lot more. Sam has that for you solo coming up. We'll be back Sunday after the finale of Cubs Reds. It's crazy. We're in the single digits of games left, and the wild card opener Tuesday, September 30th. Stay with us all postseason long for full coverage. All right, coming up next, it is that recap of Cubs Reds.
This episode is brought to you by Zipix Toothpicks. Whether you're looking for nicotine satisfaction or an energy boost, Zipix has you covered with their nicotine and caffeine-infused toothpicks. For nicotine users, Zipix provides a discreet way to satisfy cravings in the hand-to-mouth habit without vaping or smoking. Zipix can be a helpful tool as you work to reduce your dependence on vaping. Available in 6 great flavors with 2 milligrams and 3 milligrams nicotine options. And if you need energy without the crash, their caffeine toothpicks are a game changer. I've used the caffeine toothpicks before big meetings and long drives. They give me energy without the jitters, and the flavors like peppermint watermelon ice actually taste great. Go to ZipixToothpicks.com. Use code LOCKEDON for 10% off your first order. Must be 21 or older to order. Warning, nicotine is an addictive chemical. That's ZipixToothpicks.com. Promo code LOCKEDON. Zip more, smoke less with Zipix Toothpicks. We are back here on Locked On Cubs. Shout out to the everydayers, and you can become an everydayer by joining us for every episode throughout the week. I am going to take us home today solo after the Cubs just got beat 1-0 by the Cincinnati Reds. Not a whole lot to discuss in this baseball game. Hunter Green was absolutely tremendous. He did everything. He did everything right. I mean, there were a couple balls hit really hard by Pete. One of them that hit Moises Ballesteros in the helmet. That was really scary. Bush hit a couple balls well. I thought that ball in the ninth inning, Bush worked a really good plate appearance there in the ninth inning, 9-pitch plate appearance, and flew out to the track. Ball just didn't seem to be carrying, which is kind of weird for Great American Ballpark. But overall, this is one of those games, day after you clinch a playoff spot, you're still comfortably 5 games ahead of the San Diego Padres for the first home slot. You're comfortably behind the Brewers for the division. This is a rare one. You guys know me pretty well, but this is a rare one where I shrug my shoulders. And if you're watching on listening on audio, I'm actually shrugging my shoulders and I say, so what? It was a must-win game for the Reds. This is going to be a tough series for the Cubs. We talked about it. I mean, the Reds pretty much have to win every game or close to it the rest of the way. And they have their best pitchers going. They're in must-win mode, and their best pitcher was absolutely tremendous tonight. And our pitcher, Colin Ray, was almost as good. I mean, he gave up 1 run, 7 innings, 11 Ks. There's not much more you could ask from him in this outing. And let's be honest, there's not much more you could ask from Colin Ray the whole season. I mean, this guy, you want to talk about a guy that's done exactly what he was brought here to do at a cheap price. He's started when he's needed to start. He's come out of the bullpen when he's needed to come out of the bullpen. The team wins games when he starts. For the most part, he's been really competitive. And Thursday night was no exception. Soroka looked good again out of the pen. So, some positives. Seiya got the only hit of the game. It was a double. I'm glad he was the guy that got it. It wasn't a game that we'll remember too much going forward. Give the Reds and Hunter Green a lot of credit. Hopefully Moises Ballesteros is okay. He did finish the game. I wanted to talk more about just the last 9 games, because this is probably a good segue to talk about the last 9 games and the expectations that, fans should have. Really, you want to look at, and I shouldn't say that, not fans should have, that you can have any expectations that you want. But my expectations for this and where I'm going with this is I think it's keep everybody healthy, make sure that you get that first wild card spot, and try and have Tucker play a few, Seiya get hot again. Try and have your main guys starting to show signs as we hit that 3-game series. That's pretty much it. Stay as healthy as you can. Make sure you do your job and finish the wild card series. Finish the in the top wild card spot. And then get guys that, like Tucker, who I said, and other guys playing and feeling good heading into the playoffs. That's really all your goal. That's really all you're trying to do during this stretch. Now, I don't want to lose 8 out of 9, 7 out of 9 either. But, at the end of the day, I'm a pretty firm believer if the Cubs get this first wild card spot, it's mission accomplished considering what the goals were heading into September, heading in really to mid-August when the Brewers started to pull away in this thing. So, it's a weird time. Because usually when you clinch this early, you feel like, whoa, I mean, we had an unbelievable year, but because of Milwaukee, it's kind of like you're stuck in the middle a little bit, but you're stuck in the middle of a postseason team, and that's all that matters. And that's how I would look at it. Now, everybody's entitled to look at it the way they want to. You could want to win every game and take it super seriously. That's what fans are allowed to do. But I'm not like upset after this loss. Now, if they get swept in Cincinnati, that's a different ball game. But as long as they do enough, as long as they find a way to just get this first wild card thing out of the way, which, I mean, it would be crazy if they didn't. They're 5 games up with 9 left. I mean, if they go 4-5, San Diego has to be perfect. So that should put it, illustrate how difficult it would be for them not to. But for me, I'm just looking for guys to be hitting at the right time. Like, if we could just get a couple Seiya homers heading into the postseason, that'd be great, because I do firmly believe if we don't see much from Seiya and Ballesteros continues to hit, I said it earlier with Matt, why can't it be Kyle Tucker and Moises Ballesteros starting in the right field DH combo? You're playing the hot hand. You're playing to win a little bit. I know you don't want to overdo it, in certain situations, but when it comes to offense, I don't know. I want it to be Seiya. He's earned the right to start in a game like that, but I'd like to see him get hot. He had a double today, was on the ground. Let's see if in these last 9, if he can elevate the baseball pull side. That's the biggest thing that's going on with him right now. Can he elevate the baseball pull side? I'm liking where Michael Busch is at. He's showing more than just signs, hitting some home runs and hit a couple near home run balls on Thursday at Great American. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Pete a little bit as well. So some good signs. I know that sounds kind of crazy after a 1-0 defeat, but where you got 1 hit. But like I said, you got to give these guys credit too. They're human. They were celebrating, they were enjoying it. They had to come back, and they're facing a Reds team that literally had to win this game to keep their playoff hopes and their season alive. So I wouldn't look too much into that. But over the next 9, just, stay healthy, no major injuries, do what you need to do. I'd like to see Boyd finish his season with a good start. See if you can get Tucker back for the last series or 2, get Seiya rolling again, and just go into this series feeling like you got a real shot to do something special. Because what I'm going to talk about next is what the Cubs have in front of them, and what opportunities they have, and how they could take advantage of it and really be remembered forever if they have a deep run. We're going to talk about that all coming up next.
Today's episode is brought to you by FiveHour Energy. Caffeine just got a flavor upgrade. FiveHour Energy shots deliver tasty caffeine in 17 bold flavors. Each 2-ounce shot packs the caffeine of a premium 12-ounce cup of coffee, plus B vitamins and nutrients, with 0 sugar and 0 crashes. What I love most is how portable they are. Big taste, tiny shot. You can take it anywhere and get that boost when you need it. I always reach for my favorite flavor, peach mango, because it's refreshing and it gives me that quick lift before a busy day of school, podcasting, family, and more. And throw out the boring, flavorless caffeine. Enough with it. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade with 5-Hour Energy shots. Get the favorites you love, or be bold and try something new in store and online at 5hourenergy.com or Amazon today to try 5-Hour Energy shot. Today's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, the daily fantasy app where making the right call can actually pay off. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right means cashing in. With football back, Prize Picks is the simplest and fastest way to get in on the action. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player projections, and you can turn your takes into real prizes, all in less than 60 seconds. When you play Prize Picks, it's going to be such a fun way to stay locked in for this football season. It's quick, easy. It's going to be your favorite way to follow along. And you could pick Josh Allen, more or less, passing yards. You could pick Saquon Barkley, more or less, rushing touchdowns, and a whole lot more. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
We are back here on Locked On Cubs, and make sure you're subscribed to Locked On Cubs. That way you don't miss any of the great Cubs content we've got for you. That includes the Cubs postcast with Joe George live after the final out of every game. Joe George, he does a postcast episode literally right when the game ends, the 27th out. He is on. His takes are great. I've been so happy with the addition of Joe. He balances me and Matt great. I don't know how he does it. It's perfect every time. You should really check it out. And it's perfect because you go straight from him right to us, and you get all your Locked On Cubs coverage that you can ask for. And there's going to be a lot of it coming up because the Chicago Cubs, if you didn't hear, are headed to the postseason, and we can't wait to cover it for you. That first day, September 30th, we'll have probably a pregame, most likely a pregame, depending on the time. If the game's early, then we'll probably just let the episode be the pregame. I might do something game one, mid game, then a post game. The rest of the playoffs will probably just be pre and post, and then, the rest of that wild card series. And then if they go to the division, I'll probably be doing watch alongs throughout most of those. So, really exciting stuff. We can't wait to cover it. We're so appreciative of all of our listeners. I got a great DM from Colin. Shout out to Colin. That was really, really sweet. Complimented us. We love our listeners, and we love this chance to cover postseason baseball. And that's what I want to close the show with today. And that is just this. And we're probably going to talk a lot about this, but I just wanted to have a few minutes solo to myself to look into the camera and say this. Getting an opportunity to play in the postseason for the Chicago Cubs is a once in a lifetime type thing. And this is not putting pressure on any of the players. This is the opposite. Go in there excited because you're one big base hit away. You're one big stolen base away. You're one bases loaded, one out jam. Caleb Thielbar gets a double play away from being remembered forever. Every big Cubs playoff moment, those guys are heroes to me. And I'm, I haven't been around that long, but, I remember 2003. Like, I know how that ended, but I remember Pryor's complete game. I remember Sosa's game-tying homer in game one against the Marlins. I remember the Aramis Ramirez grand slam. Ramirez was huge all 2003. Like, I remember later on in 2007 and 2008, I don't think he had great postseasons, if I remember correctly. And I remember just defending him. I'm like, 2003. Like, Aramis in 2003 was unbelievable. 2008 didn't go well, but I still remember Mark DeRosa's home run to right field to give us a 2-0 lead against, I want to say, Derek Lowe and the Dodgers. Right? And then 15, I mean, you name it, right? Schwarber, Bryant, Rizzo, Castro. Soler had a big postseason and a big moment in St. Louis with a big home run. I still even remember, I think Austin Jackson had a base hit in that game. Like, you remember everything about the playoffs, everything. 16, of course. Miguel Montero, if I owned a restaurant downtown, he walks in, anything he wants for free. He got a huge base hit. Cubs don't win the World Series without that base hit. My point is this. It's special now. Doesn't matter if you've had a year like Pete or Nico, or you've had a year, like Willie Castro. Like, if Willie Castro comes off the bench in an extra innings game and gets a game-winning hit, guy's a legend forever. Like, postseason baseball is where legends and memories are made. Don't look at the other side of it of like, well, what if? No, nobody, look, Kate Horton's been unbelievable. If he goes out there in game one and he doesn't pitch well, so be it. He'll learn. It's not like it's going to be that big of a deal. I mean, it would stink in the moment, but it happens. You got to look at it from the opposite side. You got to look at it from what can this do for me and get excited about it. Like Ian Happ right now, Ian Happ, Dansby Swanson, Nico Horner. I think those three guys are probably the best examples. Maybe throw in Tucker too. But like, if Ian Happ hits like 4 or 5 home runs in a postseason where the Cubs win like 3 series, guy's a legend forever. Like, you guy's been a Cub for a long time. I think he's a good Cub. I don't think he's been a great Cub, but he's been a good Cub. You do that, you're a legend Cub. You know what I mean? Dansby Swanson, you get hot at the right time, carry this team. Tucker, I don't care if Kyle Tucker plays for the Cardinals next year. If this team makes a long run and has a chance to win a World Series, and he has, his OPS is 1.2 in the postseason, he's a Cubs legend to me. Legends are made in October, especially when you put on the Cubs uniform, because it just doesn't happen often in my lifetime. It's special, and I can't wait for it. And I really can't wait to see who and which guy and when is going to take this October by storm. Pete, city's yours. We've already proven that. When you get hot, it's your city. Go take it back, And that's just kind of what I wanted to talk about. I know it wasn't really X's and O's and stuff. It was a 1-0 loss today, but that's what I've been thinking about the last 24 hours. Is Matt said it beautifully, the opportunity to win a World Series. Well, to do that, you have the opportunity to be really, really special. And who and how many guys take that opportunity will probably determine how far this team goes. This is Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Nights. Phenomenal over there. It's like it'll take you back to your childhood, like watching baseball tonight. Every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find MLB Game Night on the Locked On MLB channel, on YouTube, or wherever you listen to your podcast. Playoff Cubs. We'll be back on Sunday.